Hi, so my name is Bonnie Baldup, and it's time for Get Moving Story Time. So let's enjoy. So this first one is going to start out with we're going to stretch to get going. So let's start stretching.
Stretch. Stretch with me. Hands in the air. Count to 3. Hold it right there. Stretch up high for a snack in the trees. Stretch out wide for a ride on the breeze. Can you stretch to the ceiling? Can you stretch to the floor? You can stretch with a whisper. You can stretch with a roar. I can stretch underwater. I can stretch on a wave. I can stretch on a surfboard if I'm very, very brave. Some will stretch to show you feathers. Some will stretch to show you spots. A stretch that goes a stretch too far might tie you up in knots. A yawn is just a stretch that starts down deep inside. It travels up into your mouth and makes it open wide. If I were an inchworm, I'd stretch from place to place. If I were an astronaut, I'd stretch in outer space. I stretch my lungs to take a breath, then blow out nice and slow. A bubble will stretch and stretch until there's no room left to grow. Pop! If you stretch me and I stretch you, we'll stretch twice as far. Who knows what we can do? The end.
So I hope you enjoyed that stretch. Let's do the next thing.
Down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a bear combing his hair? Down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a whale with a polka dot tail? Down by the bay, see a pig wearing a wig down by the bay, down by the bay, down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, back to my home. I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a goose kissing a moose down by the bay, down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a cat wearing a hat? Did you ever see a goat sailing a boat? Did you ever see a mouse building a house down by the bay, down by the bay, where the watermelons grow, back to my home, I dare not go, for if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a dragon riding a wagon down by the bay?
Okay, so I hoped you enjoyed that song. So let's get reading our first story. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to act it out. So let's see if you can join along with me.
Story is called Bedtime Kiss for Chester Raccoon, and it's by Audrey Penn. Chester Rabbit laid down his head. The sun is up. It's time for bed. Dream, sweet dreams, said Mrs. Raccoon. There's nothing to fear in the afternoon. But the spot of sun on the wooden floor crept slowly toward the treehouse door. It moved like the crocodile in his book. Chester Raccoon was afraid to look. The sunlit shadows on the ceiling danced with 6-foot spiders in baggy pants. A cloud rolled by and the sun went black and the spiders jumped on the old croc's back. When the sun returned to Chester's lair, a giant shadow of a hungry bear shone upon the treehouse wall. Chester could hardly breathe at all. With one eye open, one eye shut, he watched a sunspot prance and strut across the floor to his brother's bed. Chester Raccoon buried his head. His mother came and said, "My dear, rays of sun are not to fear." She kissed the hand of the little raccoon to give him sweet dreams in the afternoon. Chester turned and shut his eyes and dreamed of catching fireflies. His mother's words were soft and sweet, and the little cub fell fast asleep. Okay, so I hope you like that story.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that story. Did you act it out with me as well? So we're going to do some other moving around stuff.
He was
Wiggle. Do you wake up with a wiggle? Do you wiggle out of bed? If you wiggle with your breakfast, it might wind up on your head. First, wiggle where your tail would be. Then wiggle all your hair. Feeling extra silly? Wiggle in your underwear. Can you wiggle with your shadow? Can you wiggle with your toys? When you wiggle with gorillas, do they make a wiggle noise? Can you wiggle in the water? Wiggle one fin on each side. Or wiggle like a crocodile, open big and wide. When you wiggle where your wings would be, wiggles fill the sky. Wiggle slowly when with polar bears. They're very wiggle shy. Snakes are one big wiggle. No wings, no tails, no feet. Some wiggles are worth waiting for. Wiggle, wiggle, tweet! Would you join me for a wiggle? Would you wiggle on the moon? I think we're out of wiggles now. See you wiggle soon. The end.
So I hope you enjoyed that wiggle, and we're going to go on to the next thing. So this one is Shrek learns about flying, about moving around. So we're going to move around with Shrek. You move around. We're going to pretend to fly and do all kinds of things.
The problem with flying, said Shrek in a tired voice, is all this flapping to stay up in the air. The problem with flying is that you don't have wings, snapped Seagull, and I don't believe you'll ever get it right. And off she flew. Whiz! Something smooth and fast skimmed over Shrek's head. It curved through the air in a huge circle and landed in the hand of a young boy. "Hello," said Joe, "this is my boomerang. When I throw it," said Joe, "it always comes back to me. Would you like to see?" The boomerang flew away in the distance. Everyone waited, and waited, but the boomerang didn't come back. "Oh!" cried Joe, "I want my boomerang back." "Don't worry," said Shrek. "Wagtail and I will find it for you. We'll search for it everywhere." Shrek and Wagtail set off walking through the tall grasses. "Have you seen a boomerang?" they asked the kangaroo. "I'll leap through the grasses and search for it," said the kangaroo. "Bend your knees and leap with me, Shrek." "Jump as high as you can, Wagtail." I'll search for the boomerang in the trees, said the koala. Climb with me, Trek. Climb with us, Wagtail. I'll search through the leaves, said the kookaburra. I'll twist and turn among the branches. Twist and turn, Trek, just like me, cried the kookaburra. I can spin and look around, said Wagtail. I'll search across the fields, called the horse. Watch me gallop. Slow down, cried Trek. A trot is fast enough. Are you coming for a ride too, Wagtail? I'll search along the ground, said the lizard. Crawl with me on your hands and knees, Trek. Crawl with us, Wagtail. I'll search across the sandy beach, said the turtle. Watch me roll and slide with my flippers to the water's edge. Get down on your tummy and slide along, Trek. Roll along from side to side with us, Wagtail. I'll search in the sea, as I balance on my surfboard. Watch me ride over the waves, called the surfer. I can balance too, said Trek. Oh dear, said Wagtail, I'm losing my balance. I'm going to fall. Splash! And he was right. I'll search as I swim to the shore, said the dolphin. And it twisted its tail and body as it glided ahead. I can swim, too, said Trek, splashing with his arms and kicking out with his legs. And I'll just hold on to this piece of wood and float along on my back, said Wagtail. I don't believe it, Wagtail, said Trek. You found Joe's boomerang. I don't believe it, either, squawked Seagull. How did you do it? It was nothing, said Wagtail. We just did a little walking, leaping, and jumping. And some climbing, twisting, turning, and spinning, added Trek. And some galloping and trotting, said Wagtail, and crawling, rolling, and sliding. And I did some balancing and swimming, said Trek. I did some floating, chirped Wagtail, and that's how I found the boomerang. It was all very simple, really. Well, said Seagull, you must be very tired after all that exercise. And she was right. Trek learns about colors. Trek learns about shapes.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that time, that story, and we're going to do some more fun things.
Trek meets Taffy.
So this time we're going to sing Coming Round the Mountain, and we're also going to act that out. So let's see if you can do that with me. Can you come, she'll be coming around the mountain. Do you remember that song from before? Sing it with me.
be singing hallelujah. We'll be singing hallelujah when she comes. Hallelujah. We will all have chicken and dumplings when she comes. Yum, yum. We will all have chicken and dumplings when she comes. Yum, yum. We will all have chicken and dumplings. We will all have chicken and dumplings. We'll all have chicken and dumplings when she comes. Yum, yum. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Yee-haw! She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Yee-haw! She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that song. And now we're going to go on to the next thing.
This one is called My Shadow. Press play. It's by Robert Louis Stevenson.
My shadow. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see.
He's making us some shapes.
He is very, very like me, from the heels up to the head, and I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed.
Jump in the bed. There he goes. Boom. He made it.
The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to grow. Not at all like proper children, which is always very slow.
He likes to look at it. He's moving. Looks like shadow.
For he sometimes shoots up taller, like an India rubber ball. And he sometimes goes so little that there's none of him at all.
Yep. When the sun's overhead, he gets very little, disappears.
What is your shadow like?
It's a giraffe. There's teddy bear. There's his shadow. Okay, so I thought it.
Okay, so did you enjoy that? Were you pretending that you had a shadow and you were doing the things that the shadow did? Let's enjoy the next piece. Actually, it is, we have now reached the end of Get a Move On story time. And I hope you have enjoyed this Get Moving story time and look forward to having you join me next week. And we'll have fun. See you then. This is Bonnie Balder from the Pawnee Public Library, hoping you have a healthy and happy day.